Question 3, we need to simplify this expression. One thing to remind you, this is not equation. It's not something equal to 0. It is not. So don't do whatever you want. And don't think that you can move something to another side, something like that. It's so strange. To handle this, about fraction, how can we add fraction? It seems like we are asking 1/2 plus 1/3 that we have learned in primary school. We can't simply add them together. It's because they don't have the same unit pieces. So 2 and 3 are not the same. So to do so, we just change the format for each fraction. The first fraction, I don't want 2, but I can multiply 3 on both sides without changing its value. For another fraction, we can both sides times 2. Why we have to do so is because if we time each other denominator, finally the new denominator becomes 6, and another fraction, the new denominator also 6. If they are the same, then we can simply combine them because we have the same unit. So that's why we can't handle this is because at this moment their denominator are not the same. For the first factor, for the first fraction, what is missing is 1 minus 6x. So I would like to time 1 minus 6x. But I can't change the value. So the numerator, we need to times the same number, which just changed the format but did not change the value. One thing to remind you is if you write in this way, I will think just -5 times this bracket. But the fact should be whole thing multiply this bracket. So you can't avoid to add a bracket here. If not, then you are wrong, and I afraid that you can't get the full marks. So for another fraction, we just simply do the same, but this time what is missing is 4x minus 5. So we have our decision, then we just continue. You don't need to really expand these two brackets. You may just keep in this format. And then you have to multiply 2 and this bracket. So we have 1 times 2, which is 2. 6x times 2, we get 12x. For multiplication, which factor first are the same, but I want to use the standardized writing method. So this is 4x times 3, we get 12x. -5 times 3, we get -15. If we combine them, now the denominator are exactly the same, so we can just simply add them together. 2 minus 12x plus 12x minus 15. We find that these two are, the x term is not always cancel each other, but just in these questions. So 4x minus 5 and then 1 minus 6x. Basically, this answer will give you full marks already. But in the marking scheme, some of them may try to remove this negative. So they have additional step to multiply -1 on both sides. So they have positive 13, and then what below? They try to spend -1 with this factor only, so that we change the direction. -6x times -1, we get 6x. 1 times -1, we get -1. So these two are equivalent. But again, it's not necessary.